wall on our southern border. Some of it is done, some of it is not. But finishing the wall is more than an academic exercise. People live here. Here's the thing I want to verify. Is the security provided by a wall more important than the rights of the landowners who are in the way? My name is David Schechter. I'm a veteran reporter, and now I work for you. I'm taking real people out on the road to get their questions answered, and you're coming along for the ride. This is Verify Road Trip.
We are going to build the wall.
He's been saying it since the campaign, and now President Donald Trump is asking Congress to fund his plan to finish the wall with Mexico and improve security.
This is Machu Picchu when we were doing a cleft palate and cleft lip repair.
Sherman Powers is a registered nurse, a world traveler, and a Trump voter. He believes the wall is key to national security.
To allow free borders in sanctuary cities and things like that, it's dangerous for the American public that's here now.
Sherman is spending 4 days with me in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas to see things for himself. He definitely thinks we need to have a wall, but when it comes to the government versus landowners, he tends to go with the landowner.
I'd like to see the government give people more options. Maybe they redirect, the wall or something, and try to work with people instead of just coming in and saying, this 50-mile stretch of land is ours now.
Wow. I always imagine like a big concrete wall, just kind of Berlin-esque.
Yeah, and it's not what you thought it was going to look like?
No, it's not. Just you see pictures on TV, and I haven't done a lot of research. I wanted to do all my research here. Yeah. But it's pretty formidable.
Nobody's going to compromise it very easily. Or it would take great effort.
Or a ladder.
A very large ladder and some teamwork.
So is this a place where there would be more wall? It looks like it's the end of the road or the beginning of some more wall.
Yeah, it just looks like it's
right
stopping right here.
And where's it going? Which direction? And what land is it gonna take on its way?
That's tall. That's some wall right there. You want to try and climb over?
I do not.
The U.S. and Mexico have a treaty preventing either side from building in the Rio Grande floodplain. So in some places, the wall has to be up to a mile north into Texas. That isolates tens of thousands of acres on the south side of the wall. La Lomita Chapel was built in the Civil War era, and it's still in use today. Just north of the chapel is this little levee road, and that's where the wall would go, separating La Lomita from the rest of Mission, the town that bears its name. Hi, David. How are you? Father Roy Snipes is the priest here.
I have come down here several times and found usually young illegal aliens hiding out in here. And I go and get them fried chicken or hamburgers and, feed them and everything. And they'll say, could you take us to town? I say, boy, if I take you to town and we get busted, it'll be worse for me than it will be for you. What the wall would probably do is hurt the poor people who come across here to get some work to feed their families who are literally starving on the other side of the river, literally starving. No medicine, no food. They come across here and get a little job, make a little money and send it home or take it home.
This guy has a vested interest in the people that have come across from the river and from the other side. And, for the most part, he sees their good hearts.
It has never occurred to anybody that we need to hide behind a wall until now. But the people who are saying we need to hide behind a wall are not the people that live here. They're people up north. They say, you need to hide behind a wall. I say, well, why don't you hide behind a wall? I don't need to hide behind a wall. Build your own damn wall.
Father Roy, what are the plans for the wall?
It's all kind of up in the air now. No one has called and said that, we know you're the pastor of the Guadalupe Church. We know that your mission church is going to be on the other side of the wall. We want to invite you to a meeting. Maybe that's still going to happen. I don't know. You'd think they would. I mean, you're going to wall our property off from us. It seemed like he'd say something to us. This is not Russia.
But something has to be done, and I don't think in this case it's a wall that separates a church from a city. It's just better security measures in order to monitor immigration coming across the river.
Well, men, it's really tough being a missionary here on the Rio Grande. Would you pass me another beer, please?
Pass the father a beer.
What a life, what a life.
Sherman, you feel like coming this way, across the river,
Right.
is not the way to come into this country, though.
Swimming across illegally?
Yeah.
No. No, I think we agree that there are steps to be taken in
Yeah,
order
we could
to do it
find
correctly.
a better way. It's not even safe.
Yeah.
A lot of people die trying. But for a poor man to come across and do some work and make some money for his family, we ought to be clever enough to come up with some way he could do that.
Agreed. I think it's wonderful. Pops out of nowhere whenever you first walk through the trees.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Don't lean over.
Sherman and I are the Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge, known for world-class birdwatching and its endangered animals. We're talking with environmentalist Jim Chapman. What's the importance of this place?
Well, the importance is this is 2,088 acres. It has, for its size, it has a wider variety of plants and animals than any other national wildlife refuge in all of North America.
Really? If a wall goes up, virtually all of Santa Ana will be isolated between the Rio Grande and the wall.
Now, there will be gates, but when are they going to be open? When are they going to be closed? Who's going to have access?
So all this is going to be behind the gate.
Yeah, this is behind the wall now. So this will be in what people are calling no man's land.
Do you think that national security is more important than homeowner or landowner's rights?
I don't think it's an either or.
Okay.
I think you can do both. There are ground sensors, there's camera sensors, there's stuff that I'm sure you and I haven't even heard of.
Agreed.
That to me, refuge tracts should not have walls.
There are 37 federal laws that protect sensitive lands like the refuge. But after 9/11, Congress said the government could waive all of them to get the wall built faster. But Jim says there's a price to that. Walls create concrete caverns, and in a flood, animals can't get out.
So essentially all terrestrial animals are going to get drowned or washed downstream.
Oh my goodness.
How catastrophic would that be?
Oh, it would be biblical. I mean, think about it. I mean, nothing that couldn't fly would die. And there's no ark.
You think about the wall being built, and you usually think about a city that has a lot of crime and things like that, where they would build the wall. And a lot of people, I don't think about how it's going to impact a place like this.
I know every square foot of this place. I really do. I mean, literally.
This is Bob Lucio. He ran the Fort Brown Golf Course in Brownsville. During the first phase of wall construction, there was uncertainty about the fate of his course because it would be on the south side of the wall.
It seems to me they wanted to create a buffer zone from the river to the fence or to the wall. It's becoming a no man's land, period.
So what happened to the business as a whole? Why did it cease to become a great golf course?
We saw a decline in customers.
Okay.
They kept on hearing that they were going to put gates at the entrance, and that we're going to have limited access. When you do that, your clientele's not going to pay. They're not going to pay for anything like that.
Your customers just didn't come over here, stopped coming to you.
Yeah, they stopped. I had a lot of them that were members with us for years and years.
In the end, the government did put up a fence, but it did not block access. Still, Bob says the damage was done and he went bankrupt.
What are your feelings on the national government building a wall and exerting eminent domain in order to take that land?
I know how I feel about that. I feel that our individual rights, our liberties, are more important, and there should be something, a give and take on that. I said that, and my dad was still alive back then, and he said, I already sacrificed. You don't have to sacrifice something that has already been sacrificed.
Something out of his control, like as heavy as public perception these days about the wall, crumbled his dream slowly but surely.
This is pretty crazy.
This is unlike anything I expected. This is a ferry boat for up to 2 cars and some people. There's no motor on it.
Feels pretty mellow.
It does.
Not very aggressive.
And it feels very much like Mexico.
There's so much cross-border connection.
There
It's just
is.
a river. Like if this was in the United States, it'd just be like, well, that's the Red River or that's the Mississippi River.
Right.
I'm gonna go over and see my friends on the other side.
And I'm sure that's quite natural in this part.
Probably been going on here for 150 years.
They haven't upgraded, that's for sure.
Still pulling it by hand. What surprises you about this?
Well, just that it's so uncomplicated.
Makes you a little uncomfortable?
Not uncomfortable, but if you swim around the area of that river where we can't see,
Yeah. Wouldn't be hard to cross.
it wouldn't be hard to cross.
We were thinking since we're at the store, maybe you could outfit us a little bit, so we fit in.
My wife takes care of that.
All right.
I just sweep the store.
All right.
I'm looking for a big hat for David. He's not normal. He didn't have a round head. He's got an oval.
Partner,
Howdy.
did you want to do? Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. This is the historic town of Roma, Texas. It sits on a bluff looking over the Rio Grande. That's Mexico over there. We're seeing that the town sits so close to the water that plans for a wall would carve up entire city blocks. In the middle of town is Ramirez Western Wear. It's owned by Noel Benavides and his family. There's a ton of history here.
I know. We were founded in 1765, so we've been here a few years.
It's a very old town.
You have to remember that we're the same families. The river does not divide us; it unites us. Everything we do is the river. It's been in my wife's family for 8 generations.
A wall would also cut through Noel's ranch near town. He sees people crossing. There are trails back here, and there's clothing that gets left behind.
But illegals, they come through.
Noel supports a strong border, but thinks that can be accomplished with more agents and more technology, not a wall.
I mean, why spend $20 billion on something that's not going to be effective?
So you're saying maybe a wall, but after everything else has been tried.
No, I never said maybe.
And you said never said maybe.
Never said maybe.
Okay.
What's going to happen with the wall?
We don't know.
If you're just, waiting for the price to go up on your land, or if you're doing something on your own.
The price is besides the point. It's the what they're trying to do. It's just beautiful, and to come in and destroy that, there's no monetary value for that.
I understand.
What justifications do you see that would say, let's in a hurry, get that land and build that wall?
High volume illegal immigration across his land is why there should be a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Simply.
All of those things that are happening do supersede his right to keep his land intact.
I hate to put it that way. His right. Eventually, when the government's going to come in and use eminent domain to build a wall in the name of national security, then I just hope that he's justly paid.
Is that justification for a wall?
It has to be. It has to be in the end.
When government wants land, but the owner doesn't want to sell, they have to use a law called eminent domain. Here's how it works. In court, the government claims why it needs the land. It writes a check to the court for what it believes that property is worth. It's then up to the landowner to challenge the government's offer. All right, want to grab a seat? Yeah. Have a chat? We met for coffee with Efren Olivares, a civil rights attorney. He says poor landowners who can't afford a lawyer get railroaded by the government. He saw it happen in 2008. That's when the current wall was built.
And the government got away with paying $100 to a lot of people for their land of different sizes, half an acre or more, $100 because the person never responded.
$100?
Yes.
That's what they paid?
We had a client, 1.3 acres, initial offer, $100.
Oh, that's weird.
We challenged that, and the case ended up settling for $56,000.
Oh my gosh.
In 2008, the government filed around 334 cases. There's about 70 still pending. 9 years later.
Still in court.
Coming up on 10 years, still in court.
I can assume it's pretty rare that somebody walks away from that whole process and says, I'm happy with the decision.
Boy, that was great.
Yeah.
Justice. I haven't met a single person who feels that way.
Sherman and I want to hear from someone who has wall on his property, so we met with this rancher. But he's concerned about the violence of drug cartels and asked not to be identified.
2008, was our worst year. They cut our fences, then our cattle's out. At this area right here, you could see 50 people at a time crossing.
After the wall went up, he says most of that activity stopped.
And people talk about the wall don't work, but they don't know anything about whether the wall works or not. But I'll tell you it works.
In the instance of a wall across the entire southern border for national security, is that more important than landowners' rights?
I guess in my case, I like the wall because it's given us security.
Yes, sir.
And I definitely think they need the wall in other places.
But it's not been easy for him either. The rancher sued the government when it never paid him for the use of his property.
And I don't mind, losing the value, but I don't think I should have to pay for the rest of the people in the United States for their security. I think everybody needs to pay us for what we furnish the government.
If the government's going to take land in the name of national security, then how effective is the wall at protecting us? Customs and Border Patrol declined to speak to Sherman because he's not with the media. So instead, I asked Sebastian from our crew to ride along and tell us what he saw.
Within 10 minutes of riding, we hear a call on the radio and it says, they're moving packages, they're moving packages.
10-4, 970.
But as soon as they said packages, they went, oop. And I went,
okay, so here you go, Sebastian.
And he opens the door and starts running. So I opened the door and I started running after him. And like out of a movie, there is 3-4 Border Patrol officers, conveyor belt style, throwing back to each other packages of like brown packing tape wrapping them.
How many packages are you talking about?
Ready for this? Ready for this? More than 900 pounds of marijuana.
What a haul.
Did the Border Patrol at any time mention how the border wall has helped them in their job?
Deputy Rodriguez was very clear that he didn't want to talk about policy or politics, but he could talk about what he'd seen.
So what this wall has done, it's stopped their movements. So now they have to scale the wall, which buys the agents time to actually come down and apprehend them. You know, anywhere from 30 up to 50 illegal aliens trying to get past these points at one time. Now the average group size, I'd say maybe is about 15, anywhere from 10 to 15 in this area. So it's cut in half at least.
So he said that in his experience, having a physical barrier there is giving them more time to catch the people that are trying to climb it or get around it.
I'm wondering what's going to go on right here.
Sherman and I are now in the southmost neighborhood of Brownsville. A wall runs through here, and a state road passes through the wall several times. Sherman is surprised to see you can actually drive through the wall.
Why even have a wall if the road is open as as open as it is?
I guess that's the reality of building walls where people live.
Yes.
You can't just like give them no access out of their property. They have to get out somehow.
I think so.
By now, Sherman's heard from a lot of people, but seeing breaks in the wall seems to be hardening his position. He wants to see those gaps completely shut and have the government buy up all the land between the Rio Grande and the wall.
I think it's going to cause a lot of people to have to sacrifice and have to move to the other side of the wall and leave what they've known behind.
You've come to a point where you want government to behave in an ethical way and check its powers. But what you're suggesting there is a major expansion of government power.
And it may have to be that way in certain places. I mean, we're looking at the bigger picture of curbing illegal immigration and the safety of the nation as a whole. And with that said, some people are going to be on the worst end of it.
Here's my personal feeling.
Sure.
That national security is super important, and having a border that people can't cross is super important. I don't know that it's the most important priority this country has.
It is not.
A lot of problems we got to solve.
Agreed.
So 0 to 10, 10 being very urgent. How urgent is this as a matter of national security?
I would say it's a solid 7.
Solid 7. Mm-hmm. I'd say it's like a solid 3.
All right.
The government decides to build, you're going to go for the government, or are you going to go for the landowner?
I have to go for the government because the landowners are going to probably say no because they have a personal stake in the land.
And you would probably too.
I would. I absolutely would. And for this wall to come in, it's going to hurt a lot of people and the environment in a lot of different ways. But I have to just, go with my heart there and say that overall, for the safety of the United States, that the wall is a good idea.
Sherman was able to see firsthand and verify that life on the border is multicultural and it's complicated. He heard from many people whose lives would be changed, but he moved away from his concern about landowner rights and moved closer to a need for a wall that he feels will make us all safer.